Hello everybody, I am here with a book review for Curtsies and Conspiracies by Gail Carriger. Now this is the second book in the Finishing School series that she has, and I already now am waiting for the third book because the second book was so awesome. I need the third one right now, and I need it in audiobook, just like the second and first one that I did in audiobook. So, in this book, we see Sophronia after her winter break back at school and continuing her education to become a spy, along with her trusted mechanical bumper snoot, her best friend Dimity, and all of the other amazingly named characters. This book is continuing right where the first one left off, and it is all about figuring out the mystery behind not only who wants Dimity and her little brother kidnapped, but also why, and the side of why, and it's just craziness and awesome, and you really need to experience it. I got this book on audiobook from my local library's online library loaning thing for the province, and it was amazing. It was just as good, if not better than the first, and the narrator, who is the same as the first one, is phenomenal, and which is all the more reason I can't wait for the third one, because I need to get an audiobook and I need to listen to it, and it's going to be amazing. In this book, so we see more of the trusted sooty Soap and more of Viev, who also, I love the fact that she is actually one of the main characters in Carriger's adult steampunk paranormal series, which is amazing. And in this book as well, we see a lot of other crossover characters from the adult series as well, which actually happens about 20 or so years in the future, only it was published first. This is a book that you really need to experience for yourself, and because it continues off where the last one ended, pretty much right from the day, give or take a couple days, I don't want to give too much away because you need to go and read the first one or listen to the first one on audiobook first, and if you've already done that, why haven't you done it with the second one already? Because it is amazing. But in this book, we see a lot more of the spy stuff from Sophronia. So even within the first couple chapters, you see this big test that they do that is able to distinguish like how well they're doing in their studies. And it is a ridiculous test. I mean, I would fail it because I wouldn't know how to properly pour someone tea, let alone if the tea were cold, and if I were to know if I should pour it or not. It's just crazy. But that is part of the amazing appeal of the series, is the fact that it's able to take these very ordinary daily things from the Victorian area, like pouring tea, and putting extra meaning behind it for espionage. And the same thing with embroidery on cushions for your couch. Just awesome things like that. There are all of these little things that I mean, for the audiobook, when you're listening to it, you're just like, okay, yeah, I could totally see that. But anyways, the big part of this book is figuring out why people are trying to kidnap Dimity and pill over, and who's doing it, and why they're doing it, and the why behind the why, and the who behind the who, and it's a really big mystery to solve throughout the entire book, much like the first one as well. But then there's also extra things like the budding romance between Sophronia and Soap, and oh my god, I want to ship them so hard because oh my god, they're so adorable. But then you have Lord Felix Mersey entering into this, who was briefly in the first book but is a bigger part in the second book, and he's throwing his hat in the ring, and he really wants to start courting Sophronia. Courting is just, I wish people courted more. Things like that are lost in today's society. But the big big draw I find of this book, aside from the fact that I love Carriger's adult series, and with characters from her adult series making an appearance in the series, it just makes it all the more amazing that way. But the big thing is, aside from the amazing writing that Carriger is able to put into this, and the tale that she weaves, and the way that she's so flawlessly able to make you believe that, you know, in the Victorian age, sure, vampires and werewolves were a part of the upper class society, and same with like all the steampunk elements. It just seems so natural the way that it is presented. But then you get this amazing narrator, Maura Cork, I think is the name of the narrator, and she just really brings that third dimension to all of the characters, or I guess a fourth dimension, whatever. But she's able to bring them even more to life because she's able to put accent and everything into her voice as she's reading these characters, and it makes the experience just that much more amazing and pleasurable to have when you're doing a book. I actually listened to the majority of this book, I think, while trying to fall asleep at night, which resulted in a lot of backtracking and trying to figure out where the last part I left off was before actually falling asleep. But that being said, it was very hard some nights to fall asleep because I was listening to this audiobook and I just needed to know what was going to happen next, and it resulted in quite a few very tired mornings and days at work where I wasn't quite at par, maybe because I had stayed up way too late listening to the audiobook. But I did listen to a lot of it in the car as well, and that's the one thing I love about audiobooks, is that they are very much like travel reading. Fantastic ways to do it. Oh, one of the characters, his name is Lord Dingleproops. How's that for a name? So, long story short, this is a fantastic book, whether you are going to experience it actually reading it or listening to the audiobook. But the world itself is the main thing that's, I think, going to pull readers into this story and the series itself. I mean, aside from the fantastically named characters and the wickedly amazing situations that the characters are put in, it's just so well done. So well done. I mean, it makes me jealous because I don't think I could ever create anything as awesome as this, and with so much flair and finesse and pizzazz. So if you're able to, definitely go and check out this series and this book, Curtsies and Conspiracies by Gail Carriger, at your local library or local bookstore or online, as long as you know you do it all legal like. Don't go no illegal stuff. So until next time, guys, happy reading!